Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another video. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're working on the DA. We're doing a bunch of tune-up stuff. We're doing an oil change, spark plug wires, new radiator hoses from Spoon Sports, as well as a 70mm throttle body from SKUNK2. It was time to give the DA some love maintenance-wise. Get it ready for the dyno and make it ultra dragon spec for sure. It's been needing some radiator hoses, so I figured why not get a set of Spoon Sports radiator hoses. Plus they give you those cool scene points when you pull up to a show. One of my favorite aftermarket Japan tuners is definitely Spoon Sports anyway. And of course, we're going to do a new set of NGK blue wires with some Iridium NGK plugs, fresh Honda oil filter, and a SKUNK2 Alpha 70mm throttle body. It was time to start tearing this thing down. Drain the oil, pull the spark plugs, pull the spark plug wires, drain the coolant as well. Also remove the throttle body. Now it's time to drain the oil. It was definitely due. These spark plugs had just about enough. So we're going to be throwing in a fresh set of Iridium NGK spark plugs. The SKUNK2 Alpha throttle body provides its own hardware, so we must remove the studs from the intake manifold. Don't forget the fresh crush washer. And of course a fresh filter to go with it. Now it's time to get these old hoses out of here. To get these hoses out, you really have to remove quite a bit of stuff, but luckily it wasn't too hard. Just pull out the fan, disconnect the hoses, remove a couple of brackets, and we were ready to go. Now it's time to install the parts for the throttle body. We gotta remove the map sensor and the TPS sensor. Luckily, the TPS sensor had already been removed once before, so it was set in with some screws. Later on, we're going to need to time the TPS sensor. But for now, we'll just kind of set it in the middle and go from there. Once she's filled up with oil, it's now on to the coolant. Of course, we're going to have to bleed this coolant later. Got the engine filled up with oil, we've got the air box in, we've got it filled up with coolant. However, we do need to bleed the coolant, and we're going to do that a little bit later. But for right now, we're just gonna get the car started, let the oil run through, make sure everything's running the way it should, everything's plugged up, everything is good to go. So we're just gonna do a quick little startup. And we've got oil pressure, no problem. Oh wow, the response on that is pretty good. Installed the spoon radiator hoses because initially when I put the engine in the car, the upper radiator hose was incorrect. I wanted to get the proper hoses, and plus the bottom hose was pretty worn out, and I was like, hey, why not get some spoon hoses, because they look great and they last a long time. Got a little matching cap, fresh NGK blue wires with some NGK Iridium spark plugs, fresh oil change. And if you notice, I've got a first gen air box for the DA in here, and that's because I've been needing to get to the battery and disconnect it, and I might actually have to change it. I have another battery over here, an XS power battery that I may be switching to, because for some reason this battery, a lot of people have been telling me that it's you know, over time it'll start to die out, and that's what's happening with it now. So I have to unhook it. The idle's looking good. We definitely need to time the TPS sensor, which is something that we are going to do, as well as the distributor timing when we go to tune it. We're trying to get this thing ready to go to the dyno very soon. And luckily, finally, one of the last pieces that we need finally just showed up. Ta-da! Now we're gonna take a look at what's in here. These are my new rear cups from Fortune Auto. I wasn't quite happy with the amount of height that I was able to get out of the rear, so I requested taller cups so I could get more height out of the rear. And now we're switching out the batteries. As I stated before, I was having issues with these. This video up. Obviously you could tell we need to lower it down in the rear, which we're going to do, and then get an alignment, get the rear sway bar all hooked up, get the camber dialed in. And that's the thing, is that I'm kind of running out of time. I want to get this video out today. So next up we're going to be getting the suspension dialed in, hit the alignment, and then we're going to finally hit the dyno. Fingers crossed. The car's running great. We just got done bleeding the coolant, and I think it's ready for the dyno. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.